Oh yes, we've got a best of 5, and it's between two awesome players, and it's everybody's favorite matchup. In the bottom right, our red Terran is INnoVation, taking on the blue Zerg in the top left-hand side, Reynor. This is another game, another series, a best of 5 series this time, from the AlphaX Code CD tournament. Link for that down below in the description if you want to find out more. Basically a $2,000 tournament, mixing some of the top Koreans and Europeans and putting them against each other. And that's really, really, really exciting because we get to see these matches every now and then in some of the Wardy events, but even more chance to see them is, of course, super awesome. So this is a best of 5. Really excited to get this started up. And, of course, as we get this going, just a very quick mention that if you do end up enjoying the video, do hit that like button. You know how much it helps us out. And don't forget as well, you can subscribe to the channel too, help us push that sub count up, help more people find the content. The more people that find the content, the more content we put out there, the more games you guys get to enjoy. It's an everlasting circle of love, so don't forget to hit that like button. Appreciate it, guys. As we get this started off, we do have a hatchery down on the natural expansion. So it is a spawning pool first, so Reynor has already been very afraid of a potential proxy racks here. INnoVation has won plenty of games against Reynor with proxy racks as of late. And I'm not just talking about, you know, like TSL and stuff, but also like back in WardiTV events. I mean, Reynor just hates proxy racks, and especially when they play cross-server, these Korean Terrans, they love to throw a couple of racks down across the map, right? So, cannot blame Reynor at all for getting a little bit cautious with his opening here. Do you see a few Zerglings already up in the production tab? The Overlord on its way, about halfway done. The Queen about halfway along as well. I'm just going to be seeing this command center on the natural from INnoVation, so already getting that started. Now, as the SCV scouts, you will see that this is not a hatchery first, and that's exactly why you do SCV scout, because now it means you do not go across the map with the Reaper. You keep the Reaper back at home, and that means you can be in position to deal with these Zerglings. There's a Marine to join that Reaper very soon as well, so this should not be a major issue for an extended period of time. As those few go all the way around this right-hand side, and the command center on the natural is just passing that halfway marker. The second gas in the main base starting up now as well. Overlord still moving around. There's our third hatchery of Reynor already starting up on the low ground. The SCV of INnoVation to the left is going to get on a bit of a patrol. And those Lings never showed up. And INnoVation's just like, well, if you never show up, I'll just wait until my CC is basically done. Because what are your Lings going to do then if they do show up? At worst, they're going to get like an SCV or two on the low ground. I mean, you're going to be on your way to Hellions. You can pull those SCVs away, so I don't think it's a major issue. And you can see INnoVation has been extremely cautious, really waiting a long time before he moves this Reaper over. And in the end, Reynor's even just given up. He hasn't seen the Reaper at all, so he's just like, yeah, I'm going to pull these Lings back home. And at this point, I guess I just use them defensively. And they're going to be home here to help protect again, you know, help protect queens and stuff. He has got this hatchery down. Obviously, the creep spread gets to move out easily here as well. No threat of the Reaper. The SCV was actually blocking the third base location, but when he takes the third base over here instead, there's not much else for that SCV to do, so it can just continue on back home now and head back there as this Marine turns this Overlord around. It's going to push it out through the bottom side. A couple of Hellions of INnoVation moving out through the bottom into the center. And this Reaper is going to hop up into the main base as well, so into the main to see what's going on. We see a fusion core from INnoVation. We have seen INnoVation playing a bit more mech recently. Casted a game of INnoVation versus Sue recently, or a series of INnoVation versus Sue that was very mech heavy and a lot of mech based openers at the very least. A lot of games didn't go to the mid game, but I'm going to be seeing the BC here could definitely mean some mech, because again, it's how INnoVation has been kind of tending toward. He hasn't completely given up on bio or anything, but he has not been afraid of cracking the mech out, so we'll see. I definitely see more of an option here than if a lot of other people were doing this, because we have seen a lot of other players playing BCs, and they have just gone one BC into Stim, and again, there's nothing to stop INnoVation doing that here, apart from what has been a tendency for him to play a bit more mech lately than some of the other Terrans. Now, we see a few Hellions on the way out as well. We'll see just how aggressive he gets with all of this. From the moment, the Hellions just going to be moving out into the center, and we'll also see how many Hellions he wants to make, because he can start an armory and get a Hellbat, and then he can make the Hellbat attack with the battlecruiser as well. As all of our Hellions come around this top side. Again, you can just make more and more Hellions and just kind of keep the Hellions as Hellions with the BC too. Not seeing any signs of what's going to be next just yet. I like this third CC kind of behind, away from the wall. Reynor sees it anyway, though, so not going to catch him off guard. No gases, but also no tech lap on this barrack, so it doesn't feel like... Okay, there we go. Gas is coming down. This is going to be mech. So INnoVation will open with this mech style here as these Hellions still hanging around in the middle for the moment. That command center coming up and just going to be seeing the extra gases coming down in the next few moments. Queen's coming out into the center, and all of these Hellions joining up together as the BC teleports in. Hellions are going to come running straight into this. The Baneling is going to get to connect there right away, and just going to be seeing our Hellions coming back through. Just going to see our Lings and our Banes continue to take quite a bit of damage. Ooh, Hellions taking some damage as well, though. Obviously pretty good defense here from Reynor. Oh, this is nice. He actually does get a Hellion dive back into the mineral line, so he will get quite a lot of damage, but at what cost, right? He's losing him all of his Hellions early in this game. That's 14 drones he kills. That's a good amount. The BC's backed off as well. Now, it is mech, which means that you can afford to lose these Hellions a bit more than if you were playing Bio, because if you're playing Bio, the Hellions are your entire map control. But because you're playing mech here, you can realistically keep building Hellions, whereas if you're playing Bio, you need those minerals to build extra racks, so you can't keep building the Hellions for safety's sake. It puts you behind. So with mech, you can absolutely lose these Hellions a bit more freely, and that's kind of what he does, and you can see resources lost in INnoVation's favor, plus the fact he did good damage here. I think he's happy with this. I think it's a perfectly fine trade. The only thing I'd say is sad is obviously the BC already had to go home. Second BC is up now. He has to be somewhat careful with how he approaches this, because the Spire is halfway done. A teleport now could just be dead BCs, because as soon as that Spire completes and Reynor goes into Corruptors or Mutalisks, if the BCs can't teleport away, they're going to be in trouble. And that's why I think INnoVation, if anything, is just going to fly these BCs across the map. As Reynor goes melee upgrades, and we have seen a fair amount of players playing Mutiling Bane lately against the mech army. A lot of this also comes down to, of course, the fact that they kind of expect this to be one BC into Bio, and so then they set up for Mutiling Bane, and then like, oh, and then they just kind of roll with it. But players such as Sue and Reynor as well have really found a way to make Ling Bane Muto work out recently. As the INnoVation BCs just kind of stick around the bottom side. Obviously, caught by the Queens in the middle of the map is really nice. They don't even get a chance to get near a mineral line. They don't have their Yamatos yet. It's just about now to be ready to be done, as the Muta's on the way through, so he really is going to commit to this, even after seeing the second BC, right? And that's the real scout there from Reynor. He actually did see the double gases actually here, so it might be that he actually already knew about those, and so he already knew it was mech before making this decision. Seeing the second BC absolutely guarantees that. And even still, going into the Mutas, so he fully knows what's up, and still decides to go into this. It's just going to be 2 Yamatos and pretty much just into teleports away. The Spire already set to go. Doesn't really make sense. In fact, never mind just set to go. The Mutalisks already across the map. The BC's teleporting back actually act as a point of defense there. So helping out a lot with that as they do try and chase down these Mutalisks. A few SCVs went down to the Muta harassment so far. I kind of like this peel back towards this mineral line, but SR turret's not far from finishing, so INnoVation should really start to hold on in the next few moments, as the 1-1 melee upgrade is going to be finishing up soon. A few more Mutas popping out, and all of this going to go out to the right-hand side. A couple of Thors still on the way up, so getting those factories up, running. Extra factories building in the main base as well. And our Mutalisks of Reynor are going to turn back around. They're going to pick off this SCV here, and these BCs are going to go in for the kill, looking for some of those Mutalisks. Couple of Thors continuing out too. Is just going to be seeing the SCVs continue to go down. A couple of extra depots continuing to set up. Queens are going to come out the front. A lot of the creep spread going to continue to push forward. So, again, a lot of creep along this bottom side, as we do see a scan out over to the left. A little look to see what's going on. Infernal Pre-Igniter already on the way. It's about halfway done. The Thor's all on the way out. And again, the Mutalisks of Reynor make their way across over to this right-hand side. Infestation Pit is going to be finished up shortly. And our 2-2 upgrades also just ticking along quite nicely at the moment, as Reynor will come back around into the center here again. Another depot setting up. 5 on the way, and the missile turrets continue to be added on. At this stage, obviously, Reynor wants to get into this next step. As Thors are coming out, it's going to be more and more difficult for these Mutas to deal damage. He's done a great job with the Mutas, right? He's kept INnoVation a little bit busy. He's taken the map. INnoVation's BCs can't really move out to deal any damage. And INnoVation just stuck on 3 bases, trying to get to base number 4. As you get to the hive tech here, the question is, what does Reynor want to do next? Is, oh my goodness, those mutas take a beating from the Thors. And that's what I mean. The mutas have kind of done their, made their role happen already. They've already fulfilled their kind of duty here. And the next step is perhaps even just Ultralisks. Especially when you're on this many bases against a 4-ish base Terran. Ultras can really be that headbutt unit, and you're like, oh, he's throwing these Ultras away. But even though he's throwing them away, they're really fast, they rebuild quick, they're mobile, and they can continue to come into these fights again and again very quickly. And that's what's very important, because then you're looking to just keep trading out, and eventually you win out the game because you're on 94 drones, trading and trading and trading against a meching Terran who can't afford to keep on replacing what he loses every time, even if it is less than what the Zerg players lose. And this is 12 SCVs already. This first Bane run by is very successful. We will see. It doesn't necessarily have to be Ultras either. It could be just Adrenal Glands initially. This plan just finished up. And that's actually going to be 6 more SCVs along with it, as these Blue Flame Hellions will go chase. And a lot more Lings on reproduction from Reynor. Brings the mutas up to the top, and they will chase the Hellions down, of course. Got to remember, they are on the map, so it's difficult for these Hellions to really get anywhere. I mean, the main army is moving across the map. Right now, you look at this, and there's no Hellions in with this, so Lings alone might have a pretty good time. Problem is, the Mutalisks will struggle to really join in against this army at all, right? Because against Thors and BCs, they're going to get shredded. They are going to come back now as the Banelings take some of the attention away. He's going to lose a lot of Mutalisks here, and that's going to be big. Even if the Banelings get all of these Thors, it's very inefficient because the Thors are well split. And now he's going to get so many of these Mutalisks. Reynor just didn't quite have the answer to this army at all, and I really expected him to have a better solution, considering he kind of saw it coming for a long time. Now he's going to try and scramble together Corrupted production. I mean, even his queens, he's down at just 2 queens. All the queens have been dying in these fights as well. This is his last queen standing, and it's about to go down, so Reynor's going to have 0 injects here. Oh, these Banelings, oh, some of them just finish up and they crash into Hellbats, which thought they could get cancels. Maybe now Ling reinforcements can get the job done. It is only 2 Thors. You need these Corruptors to come out against these battle cruisers, though. Problem is, these BCs also have Yamato cannons, so they're going to take down 3 Corruptors as soon as they spawn. And if you lose the first 3 Corruptors when you're only building 6 or 7, 3 or 4 Corruptors doesn't really get the job done fast enough, especially if those Thors then join in and start fighting the Corruptors off as well. Then it becomes an extremely, extremely painful experience. Yamato's dropped down. He actually does kill one of the BCs before that Yamato goes off, and that is big. As the Banes come in again, the Thors are once more forced to split. BCs, for whatever reason, just are not teleporting away from this, as the Lings streaming through should just about be enough to clean this up, shut this down, and finally Reynor is going to get the cleanup. He holds on. He still has his 6 bases up and running. INnoVation behind this. Well, he got back to 4 bases, but that's really it still. So Reynor takes a long time to defend this. And look at that resource lost. 22.5 to 15,500 resources. So it's a big, big deficit for Reynor. But a deficit for Reynor he's been manning so much all game long to really overcome. And now that INnoVation's army has lost a bit of momentum, his rallying across the map hasn't really done much else here. I mean, this Thor is obviously in trouble too. Now I do get a little bit more worried, because now Reynor's going to start hitting his stride on Hive Tech. Ultras are going to start joining in, and that's going to start making this Zerg army that little bit better. As the Thor goes down, these Hellions back up through into the middle. Raptors come across, and there's no anti-air here, so they're going to caustic spray this planetary. SCVs were not repairing there for a few moments, and with the Thors showing up, they shouldn't get the kill on this. It's nice to deny some mining time. Reynor should really pull away. His Thors should really switch modes, and they do that after the Corruptors leave. I mean, will be good for the next fight, of course. The splash damage mode is great against Mutalisks. Against the Corruptors, you want that high impact payload. That's what it's called, right? Explosive payload. The big damage, single target damage, and so on. No, explosive payload is the splash one. Yes, I thought it was high impact. Yes. So yeah, that's the yeah, he sets up right for the next fight, basically. As I don't know what it is about Thors. I don't know if it's just because I always just never really referred to it as the proper name, but I always just referred to it as the AoE damage and the single target damage. I've been trying to get a bit better at actually learning the proper names. It's one of these things which you can totally get away with as a caster, like not knowing. It's like, shh, don't tell anyone. Because everyone's just like, oh yeah, the AoE mode or the single target mode, duh. And you ask them, well, what's it actually called? I'm like, You know, I should probably really know for sure, but, you know, you fall into bad habits sometimes. Man, Reynor just holds the entire map, and I really feel like that's obviously the whole point of what I've been saying about INnoVation being a problem here, right? What does INnoVation do to start moving back on the map? What does he do about this economy of Reynor, which can overcome the resource loss disadvantage he was playing at? Reynor, again, now has so much time because INnoVation doesn't remax very quickly, so he doesn't have another big push already coming across the map, set up fully and ready to go already. So this is kind of brutal, honestly, as a couple extra Thors are all going to be coming out here. Hellions still hanging out around to the bottom side. A few of these Banelings of Reynor are going to go rotating up to the top. Anabolic Synthesis is going to be setting up. Neural Parasite is on the way. As we do see the Hellions of INnoVation coming around. That's what I mean, right? It's all of these upgrades have had time to come up here. 3-3, Adrenal Glands, Ultras on the map. And that just makes these next fights from Reynor that much better than what we saw before. There's no meters here now, so these Thors aren't going to just, you know, there's not like 30 to 40 supply just flying around that's going to melt to the Thors and BCs. And that's a pretty big deal as well. As you do see, Reynor is kind of just going for this. The Banes are going to go rolling for those Hellions. Well, honestly, I wouldn't mind them going for some of the Thors there. The Thors felt pretty stacked up, but clean out all the Hellions makes way for the Zerglings around. The Ultras getting in as well. You can see the Thors trying to target down the Ultras, and when they do very well. But obviously the Lings are just not being handled at all, and that's why it is a good call to go for those Hellions with those Banelings initially, as Reynor comes running through just to come and, well, clean up pretty much everything there initially. Reinforcements will start to shut this down. He'll have to get a remax going for round 2, but a gain of 90 drones, that's no problem at all. He's chasing down this command center with the Corruptors, so he's able to do that very easily, make that happen very nicely, and Reynor continue to clean up, and again, keeping INnoVation pinned in right now. Where can INnoVation actually go? There's actually 0 bases on the map he can take because of creep spread. Maybe this one? And that's because that's where that fight started. That's what INnoVation was trying to clean out when he initially moved out over there. I'm not even convinced he can even take that one again soon. I mean, if he wants to, the CC's so out of position to deal with it. It's all the way up to the top because it was trying to fly to this base. The CC also realizes that's not going to work out. Starts to back away, but of course, Reynor off 90 drones is just ready to go yet again. Lings, Banes already streaming through. Lings and Banes and Ultras from the left side as well. The Infestors burrow into the center of this, and he neurals 4 of the Thors. GG from INnoVation, and Reynor is going to go and pick himself up at game number 1 in this best of 5 matchup. Best of 5 because it is the semi-finals of this tournament that they're playing in the AlphaX Code CD event. Reynor takes the 1-0 lead in the best of 5. How about that, my friends? Looked great, right? Really made this Middleisk setup initially look so good, right? Was able to come around, was really able to keep INnoVation pinned back, really able to keep INnoVation pinned in. Beautifully done there by Reynor. That's GG, and Reynor is going to end up taking game 1 of this best of 5. And we'll see what INnoVation has planned and in store for us going into a game number 2 in a couple of moments. In the top left-hand side of map number 2, Nightshade, we do have the blue Zerg player Reynor taking on the red Terran player in the bottom right, INnoVation. Alrighty, so as we get into game number 2, I actually just want to quickly say, guys, because this is a YouTube-y focused cast, do you consider checking out ways to support the channel? The 2 ways I always talk about on the on YouTube to support the channel are patreon.com/WardiTV, or check the link down below in the description. Everything you pledge on Patreon goes towards our tournament prize pools, helps us to host even more tournaments. And secondly, the other option is to just check out the YouTube membership system, which is a new kind of thing. $5 a month, you can join, you get replay packs and stuff, and you get a cool little W next to your name when you get to comment on the videos as well. So that also just helps me to general just supports my YouTube content. So do consider checking that out. It's always greatly appreciated and always goes a long way. As we do have the spawning pool first. Once again from Reynor, not going to check himself out against proxies. I feel like INnoVation has no idea what they just talked about, by the way. I feel like these guys are like, by the way, we're on the wrong server. And Reynor's like, do you want to re-host on the right server? And INnoVation's just like, I have... you have lag? I mean, it's US East. This is the thing. US East is meant to be really good for Reynor. So, Apparently not affecting INnoVation right now. Apparently he doesn't care about the Eastern server. That or he just feels like that or INnoVation might just like group the entire America's servers into one. He's just like, yeah, they all suck. They all lag. Amazing. All right, well, we'll see if this... It doesn't matter to us, obviously. We're casting a replay. So if they rehost, they rehost, and it's whatever. So, yeah, Reaper pops out, and just going to be seeing the Reaper coming through. The Lings go down the right-hand side. And obviously looking around to see where they can get to, and SCV already scouted, tell him it's a pool first. So this time he's just looking to try and find some damage with the Reaper. He's really looking to catch these Lings off, and they are going to go into the center. And they are going to commit through because the Overlord saw the Reaper moving out, so it gave Reynor the go-ahead to commit to this. There's a Marine there. The Reaper's going to come and join in. The single Ling gets into the main. Obviously kind of nice. At least gets a scout on the second gas already, so that's pretty good info. Although against a pool first, you'd be kind of crazy to go for 1 gas 3 CC because off a pool first, it's so likely you see something like a big roach attack or so. It's just not really worth going for. It's just not worth doing. It's just not worth going 3 CC for the risk of the roach attack coming at you. Reaper from INnoVation out into the center of the map. Look to see what's going on as the starport sets up in the main base. Factory will swap to the reactor, of course, for those starter Hellions. So first Hellions coming up. The Queen coming through, pushing this Reaper back over to the side. And the Reaper will get in. Really wants some extra scouting if possible, but I just feel like he didn't think that was the moment. Now he will get here. He can check this gas and he'll be able to see Ling speed is actually enough info for him. 1 worker on gas, so he just knows it's Ling speed. He knows there's not going to be anything too aggressive. He saw the 3rd hatchery too, so he should be fairly happy, fairly content. This is one of the scenarios where losing the Reaper is completely fine because you really do just want to know what are you doing in terms of a follow-up here? What are you committing into as the next stage of this? And the answer is he's not really committing into anything. He's just going into his, macro game. So then INnoVation doesn't have to worry so much. He is going to open Banshees anyway. We see this all the time on Nightshade. I used to talk about how it always was to defend the roaches and stuff like this and to get you into a good position on a map which is really good for Terran going into the mid-game. Nowadays, I just think it's because the map is good for Terran going into the mid-game that just dealing a little bit of damage with the Banshees can just give you the win straight up because of how good the pushing potential is for the Terran player. And just because the Banshees have probably the most potential to deal damage in terms of being able to micro them properly and really just find damage over an extended period of time compared to like a Liberator or so, which is much easier to guarantee a shutdown on than 2 Banshees. Because a Liberator can only show up in so many places, it can only deal damage in so many places, right? The Banshees can hang around between bases, pick drones that are transferring off, and all of that damage adds up to the point where the mid-game push becomes a little bit too much of a problem. There's this Banshee going up to the top side of the map. Just going to be seeing all of these Hellions coming through as well. This is going to be Stim as a follow-up also, so we do know that this will be a bio follow-up for game number 2. After that mech game number 1 obviously didn't go so well for INnoVation. This Banshee already through the top side. The Hellions are going to come up the Banelings. Now we got a big connection, but INnoVation turned away. And the first Banshee actually flew into the Spore Crawler, so already took quite a lot of damage. So he took quite a bit of damage on the Banshee as the 2 engineering bays start up from INnoVation in the natural expansion, so gets those started. Just going to be seeing 2 more barracks setting up in INnoVation. 3 minutes later, INnoVation is like, it's so laggy. Oh, that's actually amazing. I love it. I absolutely love it as these couple of Banshees join up to the top side. Hellions going through the middle of the map, and we are going to be seeing the 1-1 upgrades continuing from INnoVation in the back of the natural. The Banshees of INnoVation coming across into the main base. I'm looking to see what they can do. As our Hellions are just going to sit here and fight the Queens for a little bit. Banshee's thinking about committing in there. Didn't go for it in the end. Just going to be seeing our Bane speed starting. This is where the Banshees really do want to try and get a few drones of damage. And this is what I mean, right? They find themselves in the back of a mineral line. They get 4 drones just like that. There's no siege up or setup time like there is with a Liberator or so. And that's just already some good damage dealt, as you do have the extra couple of drones going down. So 7 workers picked off. Hellions of INnoVation still through the center of the map, and And gain 1-1 upgrades, combat shield. All of that finishing up soon so you can start pushing onto the map with the main bio army. And really looking for those fights. INnoVation only lost 2 Hellions this game so far. And that's one of the main things with this, right? Preservation of units. The more units you keep alive, the scarier that first push is going to become. And that's exactly where we're at right now. With this group of units from INnoVation, they are very scary on their own accord. Never mind when the 1-1 stimmed and combat shielded bio units start showing up as well with medevac support. A dropper lord from Reynor, so he's going to go for some bailing drops into this natural mineral line. So Reynor planning to get a little bit aggressive there. We'll watch as this loads up. Meanwhile, INnoVation is already moving into the middle of the map, so he's already looking for a push into the center and in towards, damage dealing position. The Hellions are not going to sit around for a Ling run by, which is a good call. There is not one set up. So they will actually just come and join this fight. Good choice, but it's the bailing drop that INnoVation just has 0 preparation for, and 9 workers go down. Oh no, 16 workers just died. And while INnoVation looks back at that, he loses some of his Marines on the front line as some bailings committed in. These tanks aren't siege, and oh my goodness, INnoVation is going to get completely rolled in a second. Reynor dives in, bailing drop in the natural, dives on the main army. Doesn't matter that INnoVation got some damage done before. Doesn't matter he's 1-1 against 0-0. He did not have his attention split to the right places at the right times. And that's going to cost him this game number 2. And that's just brutal, obviously. Reynor just sweeping in and just making it look so easy. GG's. Reynor's going to take a second map here. And gets off to a very good start then in this best of 5. 1 map away from victory. INnoVation, time for him to pick it up a little bit. Time for him to find some magic. 3 games in a row against Reynor isn't easy, but if anyone can do it, INnoVation can. Our third map, perhaps our decided map if Reynor wins it, is up next. Bottom left-hand side, our red Zerg player. Let's kick it off as we do have Reynor up 2-0. And honestly, just playing pretty well so far. Not really messing up, not really making many mistakes or anything. Really just jumping on opportunities and taking advantage of INnoVation's distractions. INnoVation. Hence is our blue Terran in the top right-hand side of this. I need a new phrase, right? Because it's not quite YouTube exclusive when I'm casting on Twitch, but it's being cast on Twitch for YouTube. So maybe just like in this designed for YouTube cast, where we do focus up just on the game. We don't go off topic at all, mostly. And yeah, maybe designed for YouTube is the new thing. If you guys got any good ideas yourself, you can let me know in the comments down below. As we set this up, SCV production coming through. Hatchery on the way down from Reynor on the natural expansion already, and he does have this Overlord out into the center of the map. So again, he's been very afraid of proxy racks this series. Now he's 2-0 up. I think he's willing to take a bit more of a risk. He's like, okay, well, A, you didn't proxy racks the first 2 games. B, I am 2-0 up, so if you do get a cheeky proxy racks off on me, then you can, you probably do okay. You probably, like, it's like, yeah, okay, yeah, I lose a map. I still have 2 more games to win it in, right? So I kind of like it, and just playing, if he doesn't proxy racks like he doesn't, now Reynor's off to his regular opener. Now he's off to his regular start. 47ers. I don't usually do shoutouts during the designed for YouTube casts. But because 47ers drops 300 bits and says, hey, YouTube, I feel like it's appropriate. Hey, YouTube. Is this where my YouTube and Twitch chats have, like, some weird, like, overarching, like, connection during the, maybe I start reading some YouTube comments during my Twitch streams, and then Twitch can reply in the YouTube design casts. This is where Wardy links the world of YouTube and Twitch. I mean, we what do we call it? YouTwitch. YouTwitch. TwitchTube. I feel like the problem is Twitch, because it's one syllable, like, Twitch gets its entire name in there, which kind of feels like, YouTube's getting scammed a little bit. Alright, well, Reaper comes across, and the Lings will start to dance. A couple of Queens are coming out. And obviously, nothing too crazy, right? INnoVation is going to come around and check the third hatchery, which Reynor was able to sneak a drone to already. Ooh, pulls away. I'm surprised he doesn't go to confirm the third hatch is there, and INnoVation is surprised he didn't do it as well. It does turn back for it. Let's just go back to check that out, then pull back through into the center. Orbital command building on that natural expansion, and the Overlord from Reynor hanging out overhead. So just obviously keeping this in a fairly regular position, right? Just in a position where I can make a dive into the main if it really wanted to see what was up. In a position to roughly, it doesn't really give him a lot of info on the natural, but it does watch this ramp out, right? So it watches anything leaving through this very commonly, used pathway, unless you manually go the long way around. So it's a pretty cool position, especially on a map where else do you really send the Overlord, right? You can't really go here. There's nothing to pick up on there. You can't get near these structures for free. Yeah, he is actually just going to commit it forward to try and get info, and he's right to do so. This Marine is not going to be in position to stop it from getting there, so he'll get that information as the Reaper comes over to just try and confirm there's no roaches on the way out, because if there is, INnoVation would really, really, really like to know about that as soon as possible, so he can start handling it immediately. Otherwise, he gets into some trouble. There's already Stimpack though, so what Reynor is seeing is just the fact that there's going to be a nice, easy commitment into bio. We're going to see, hopefully, a nice long bio game here from Inno. I mean, it makes a fair amount of sense. We see INnoVation a lot of the time really does love this position over here. I love that Reynor already has a creep tumor here just to watch for this position, right? Because this is so much easier to defend. Even if you just have the creep to the edge, the Queens can run across here much more easily and get in range when the tanks siege up here and the Marines elevator up. That's something really important to watch out for as the couple of Hellions and the Reaper go turning back around. The Viking still holding out in the center. The Engineering Bay about to finish on the natural. And Evo Chamber's coming up as well. So we really are just setting up into a fun opener because this is no 3cc, right? And that's going to be what makes it more fun than anything else. No third CC, so it's not fully macro focused. The single Engineering Bay is a sign that this is potentially even just a straight up 2 base all in. Plenty of Marines building already. Now, again, the idea with the tank and probably Medivacs, probably take a position like this early and really try and push it, especially if Reynor plays as though he expects this to be 3 bases, then it isn't, right? That's when you kind of get into a position here now where it's like, oh, if I'm being a little bit greedy, double upgrades, maybe tech up a bit, and then I get caught by an attack, which can really utilize a position like this so well, that could be tough for Reynor to deal with. So I like the idea from INnoVation. It's a good, fun little switch up as well. You don't see a lot of committed to basic Russian, but look at this, Reynor. 4th base already. Lair is fairly late. That means he won't have Bane speed for a long time, obviously focusing on these upgrades early. Yeah, I actually can see INnoVation getting a lot done with this, right? The first 2 Medivacs are going to be done soon. Maybe just take 8 Marines and 2 tanks. And obviously then you can reinforce with the next 2 Medivacs after that as well. It's going to be seeing the Force of INnoVation coming out to the front, and Hellions and a Reaper are already picking off the new expanding creep tumors, so that's nice to slow down progress on the bottom side of the map. Reynor's already up at 64 workers. If he holds this off without taking any damage, then obviously he's in an amazing position. Can he hold this off without taking damage? I don't think he can, right? This is just such a large army. No baneling speed. He's not going to have upgrade advantage quite yet, and even when he does, it's going to be 1 upgrade advantage. It's not like he's 1-1 against 0-0 or anything, as this is a nice catch. Gets a couple of Queens. INnoVation might not go to the far bottom side because he's already here. He might just go tank here and here and fight the natural, where he could maybe put pressure on the upgrades. And he decides to go all the way down the bottom. Big run by from Reynor, who sees no 3rd base. Then is a bit afraid of what's in the natural already. Oh, but these units move forward, so they're not in the wall off like they're meant to be. INnoVation makes a mistake, and now Reynor jumps on that. And already these units are going to start going down. Flings stream into the natural and will start dealing damage to the mineral line. Going to be seeing a couple of tanks already fire, and the Baneling's taking a lot of damage. Reduce the Marines. Lifting back up, dropping back down. Queen's actually able to get 1 Medivac already. INnoVation loses 15 SCVs. My goodness. If he doesn't take that damage, I actually really like his position, but now taking that damage, he's already on a lowish worker count, and that kind of works while he's dealing good damage over here, but now on 33 workers he was left on. That's a difficult rebuild. Reynor still without Bane speed. And as he comes running in for round 2 of this, these tanks are already racking up the kills. 12 kills on one, 18 on another, but he gets the next Medivac. The Medivacs are huge for this defense, because if you have the Medivacs, you continue to elevate her up, you continue to heal. This position is still very scary. He still has high ground vision, but without Medivacs, it's so much more difficult to make work. And okay, he does have new Medivacs arriving, but a shame to lose the first 2. Obviously, even just losing the healing is going to be expensive as well. As INnoVation will keep this position. Still 2 base all in. No sign of a third CC just yet still. We're going to be seeing Reynor is continuing to make his way up. Sees 2 more medevacs coming across. Still no third. Reynor is obviously getting more and more of an idea of just the sort of position INnoVation is in. He'll kill the spawning pool. No new spawning pool made already, so that's a pretty big deal to slow Reynor down a lot as well. Yeah, that's a huge deal actually, as this lair about halfway down, continuing to drop. The queens continue forwards. And as the tank shot's doing a good job of covering this Lingbane army, the queens as well taking some damage. Well, it's up. Unfortunately, the Marines jumped into the lower health medevacs. They don't survive that long at all. As now the rest of these units load up onto the high ground. Tank siege is up. A few Marines press through. It's going to be seeing the Banelings continuing to morph in. And this lair is indeed going to go down, so lair will fall. The extra couple of Banes coming across, still seeing our army here has obviously done a great job. This hatchery going down. I mean, this counterattack looks scary, and ooh, has to lift up the Marines to save it. He will then stop the Banelings, though, so INnoVation holds on against the counterattack and is making this happen for the moment. Reynor, spawning pool back online. I mean, one of the big things will be 2-2 upgrades. Being well on his way towards those now. As we'll say, those queens obviously a little bit kind of on their own. If you want to bring these Banes back up into this fight, that's going to be messy back through the tank fire. He's going to try to make it happen. He's going to be 1 Baneling left. INnoVation doesn't find it, so he doesn't target it down. It's a real shame, because now he lost a few too many Marines, and those Lings do a little bit more than they maybe should have done. And these queens are still surviving when they definitely should have gone down, right? Those queens, they were dead to rights, as INnoVation is going to be to the top side. Marines coming through, and a couple of Lings continue to drop. He does end up lifting and saving all of these Marines. Kills a queen in the end as well. And you will see that Reynor has now just taken this next base. Finally, INnoVation starts the 3rd command center of this game, just shy of the 10-minute marker. Obviously, he's been super all in up until now, but he's now realizing, well, what am I meant to do? Like, this is going into a longer game. He has taken an advantage, and he's taking a big advantage at that. Issue is, does Reynor not just get back into the game for the fact that INnoVation is so late on his 3rd CC, right? Because especially when you consider the fact his main is mining out, even his natural is going to be there fairly soon, he's really lacking on income. So Reynor's got a much better income here. Definitely has a way back into this game as the tank goes down. I mean, he still has these units here, INnoVation. He's not really reinforcing this position anymore. He's been pretty good at trying to deny the top left side, but Reynor's just expanding everywhere. So as this base goes down, I'm not even sure that Reynor really needed that one. That would have been base number 5, not including the fact that this was base as well initially as well, right? So yeah, it's a little bit crazy. Now INnoVation does send a few more units down here. We'll help him get rid of these queens. I mean, I guess he can progress to the high ground to deny this base. Perhaps why Reynor was somewhat eager to try and get this base running. And as INnoVation sieged up and fairly committed again, he's now 1-1 against 2-2 though. So those upgrades are going to be big for Reynor as well. Will definitely help in some of his efficiency in being able to take these fights and being able to trade out. Especially in these smaller, scrappier fights when the Lings really are getting surrounds and really able to start, to start fighting. He may very well lose the natural. Looks like Reynor's very happy to give up on that and gain. Probably part of the reason why he was already looking to take this space. So just continuing to expand. Evo chambers are down, of course. Not really much to be done there. They were already finished upgrading 2-2, and there's not really the sort of game where Reynor has the time to get into hive tech and to make the most of this. Right? If you can get into like hive tech here, then you're so far ahead. INnoVation shouldn't even be trying. So yeah, it's not like those Evos really meant that much. Obviously getting rid of the hatchery takes away the chance to mine from there again. But like I said, I really like how Reynor's handling it. Just continuing to try and take extra bases. Is never going to let himself be caught being reset down to 2 or 3 bases. He'll always be basically on 4 bases. Is kind of his plan. As INnoVation has some of the creep to clear in the center of the map. Creep he's neglected to clean earlier in this game. The rest of the Marines come through. Overlord's taking quite a lot of damage. Those Marines load up and continue to boost up to the top side. The Lings will continue to run in. Tanks continue to fire. A lot of these Lings going down. The Banes are going to come on through. A couple of siege tanks getting blown up. Oh, some of these SCVs in the mineral line taking a lot of damage as well. I mean, I love this counterattack, right? It's not like INnoVation's economy was in the strongest position, so getting rid of some of it, any of it, really helps slow INnoVation down. He's actually traded very well against the reinforcements because there just wasn't quite the Marine count needed here. Finally, these Lings, they get turned away, but not before they took down 1 extra tank And even then, they're going to come back in for a couple more SCVs before the job is done. These two tanks up here are going to be left to die as well. 39 kill siege tank, about to fall. He's a brave fighter, but I say he's a brave fighter. He mostly hid behind walls where he could not be attacked by the Lings. Maybe not so brave, but he got the damage done. Slipper is having a good time. Not just this one here, but this one here is actually kind of confused as to where the other one was firing. That's why my bad ear. I can't hear my right ear very well at the moment, guys. Apologies. But actually, the directional sound there threw me off a little bit because I was like, I'm sure it's this one based on the sound, but obviously it was this one down here. So my apologies, as we do have the Queens finally cleaning up. So Liberators go down. I mean, some nice damage from Inno, but is it enough? As he attempts to get down to this 4th base, I feel like that's going to be really tough. He's still fighting here, down an entire set of upgrades. The Liberators do a great job of slowing Reynor down to maybe buy him time to get those upgrades. But look at what Reynor's doing. He's already on his way to Hive. It's about to be finished. And if INnoVation isn't putting on any real pressure on the ground, Reynor on Hive Tech is just going to explode in this game. He's going to have a fantastic time. And that obviously ain't going to look pretty. That's also not going to look pretty. Banelings from both sides come in. And these medevacs are going to go home empty-handed. They don't have a single Marine to take back home with them. I feel like the rest of these Marines, they're looking at these medevacs like, guys, you just left with like 15 Marines. Where are they? And the medevac's like, we don't talk about it. We don't talk about it. These next Marines are like, God damn, we've been sent with the traitorous medevacs. These guys are terrible at keeping people alive, and they really were. Every single Marine just getting crushed by Banes. And that is, it sounds crazy, but that might just be the little momentum swing. I don't even know if Reynor needed a momentum swing, but it's the little momentum change perhaps, or the little momentum booster that might just really stop INnoVation getting this 4th base from ever mining. Do love the Liberators. Really, the double lib as well really helps give coverage against a low queen number. So, oh my goodness. Oh my god. Both these overlords get out. They were a shot away from being cancelled. Another queen goes down as a game. This will stop mining for a while. He'll go back to mining. He'll lose 3 more drones actually from going back to mining early before the queen's got the final kill. Again, it's great and all. We are still down 15 workers as INnoVation. Reynor still has the economy lead. He has this base down on the bottom side of the map as well. So he's still 5 bases against you, attempting to take base number 4. And the funny thing is, it's 5 really fresh bases because the main and the natural are dead. It's 5 bases outside of that. And that's really crazy because obviously, you know, at this point, INnoVation, main base gone, natural and very nearly there. This 4th base is basically acting as his 2 base full economy if he can get it up and running. There's just no comparison in the economies this game, right? Reynor is just miles and miles ahead of INnoVation in that aspect. There's going to be seeing a few more Marines of Inno down to the low ground, going to stim in, and a couple of Overlords definitely in some trouble to start. The Lings starting to come through. Marines will just load back up. And this drone just going to come across, drop the hatchery down into the natural expansion. The Marine's going to unload once again. On the bottom side, the Lings and Banes coming through. A few Marines getting lifted up. Medevacs of Inno are going to jump back across the left-hand side as we do still see, well, 3-3 upgrades from INnoVation starting. A couple of Liberators on the way out. Siege tank production coming up as well. Some of these Lings taking some damage. This will lift up there, save some of these Marines. Up to the high ground he goes as the Lings go running through. Another good couple connections, though. It really feels like INnoVation is just a little bit off this game. I don't know if he's just kind of... It's almost maybe that kind of feeling of being defeated, yet he's not knocked out yet, and he's maybe just like, oh, like, I'm trying, but it's like, I know I'm about to be overwhelmed. But, I mean, that's happened because he lost a few of those drops a little bit unexpectedly without really, you know, taking care of them like he should have done. 7-8 drones going down here as those Liberators set up. Tanks firing away, the bio has to run. I mean, it's into a planetary fortress, which is probably just going to get taken down as well. And that might just be the GG moment for Inno. Oh, it survived. Oh, it's so nearly survived. The Ultra got the final shots. The SCVs were a split second late to repairing it. He has a drop across the map, and he's killed 22 drones. So he's actually starting to really do some eco damage here, but I'm just not sure he can really recover from the eco damage he's taking because, again, when you come out losing a base and not killing a base and losing equal amounts of workers, Reynor's economy was insurmountable this game. And because of that, equal damage or better damage from Reynor is really just on the point of being game ended. And you can just see units flooding in. INnoVation cannot really deal with this at all. Now the SCVs will drop heavily. And Reynor is going to Link Ultra his way through to a Game 3 victory and a 3-0 against INnoVation in this best of 5. That means Reynor advances through to the Grand Finals of this tournament as well, and that is the Grand Finals we'll be casting on the YouTube channel here at some stage also. So make sure you keep your eyes open for that. I imagine it's not going to be too far further ahead than 1 or 2 days uploaded from this one. So, yeah, watch out for that. Reynor able to win this out 3-0. Again, thank you so much for watching this one again today, guys. Really do appreciate it. If you did enjoy, hit that like button. Let people know you liked it, because then YouTube's like, oh my god, people liked it. We'll give it to more people, and then they like it, and then it's a beautiful effect. Obviously, subscribe to the channel if you don't already, as we're still thinking of a new subscriber goal to aim for. But every little helps. So thank you so much for watching here today. More uploads every single day here on youtube.com/WardiTV. Thanks so much for watching.